Hello and fuck cape shit. Welcome to another episode of Shittywebcomics Weekly, brought to you by our Subscribe Star backers. You can check the link below. There's all sorts of extra hidden, super secret videos that you can only watch through the Subscribe Star. But
Superior video. These are the pre-phone it in content.
yeah,
The
this is the
superior content is behind the paywall.
the pleb loser shit that every asshole it gets available to them. Those jerks. But anyways, back to Sinfest because somebody linked this to me a week ago. Now I can tell it's a week ago because right now it's October the 1st. Yay! And we're starting. This one's from September 24th, so it can't be that long ago. It's nice and fresh and current, just like us. You know, everything we do is totally up to the minute. And the
I just
coolest,
looked at the
hottest thing.
previous one. It really is like he's going full bore on the
Wait,
fucking.
did you go to the previous one from this?
Yeah,
Let me look.
it's terrible. It's the one the one you actually linked to is at least like a comic.
Yeah, I just looked. The pig guy. He had some guinea pigs with the jab. He's going full anti-vax, and then at the end, as if to be like, "Hold on, I can be really current." Speaking of being current, just fucking says, "Check out my OnlyFans." Whoa, OnlyFans! I've heard of that in recent culture.
It's weird. The pig guy wants them to check out his OnlyFans. Is he going to be pulling his asshole open?
Is he going to be getting a shot on his OnlyFans? Do I need to pay on OnlyFans for fucking that kind of shit? You know what the sad thing is though? There are people doing like song parodies. Like on Revenge of the Cis, just yesterday I saw an episode where they did a song parody that was actually kind of funny about I got the vaccine, so I'm better than you, and if you don't get it, then I hope you get COVID and die. It was just a song that's like, I hope you get COVID and die. I'm good. I'm feeling fine, and that kind of shit. It was making fun of like the hypocrisy of the vaxxers openly wishing death. But then I think right after that they played another, or it might have been before. They played a song by some TikTok nurses that did just a god awful parody song about how you should get the vax and you need to get it and all that shit. I feel like talking about this too much
A
is gonna get our
dance
video
mix.
flagged by the
Well,
fucking
it's
NSA
worth talking about.
mind
That's the
control.
thing. We haven't talked about it at all.
Yeah, we try not to, but that's because it's obvious. Well, we've talked about it on our fucking Discord, which is the only thing that really
Yeah,
matters.
there's not really much to add.
Yeah, it's completely obvious and not on the surface. It's the same behavior that we had already documented years ago. It's the fucking I'm a better person than you. I openly hope you die. But it's turned into something so much more blatant than it even used to be. But it used to be blatant back then too. Like in the old days, like fucking, back in 2012 and shit. They wanted anyone who didn't support Obama, they wanted them to die. They would just try to act like they were morally superior and better. And now they can't even do it efficiently. They've gone full schizo. They've gone from hostile to schizo in the past, 8-ish years,
I mean, it's
especially the
the
past 4
typical.
years.
It's virtue signaling, but it's also a typical power grab. It's never lose an opportunity to take advantage of tragedy.
Yeah, but and also that was when people talked about virtue signaling as a concept. The original purpose was to be falsely virtuous, where you weren't virtuous, but you were also bitterly, openly hateful of
It was
people.
an excuse to attack people.
The thing is that Tatsuya Ishida, who does this comic, was exactly like that kind of person, and now he's flip flopped. He's done what we like to call the Ian Miles Chung, where he's fucking turned around, especially because the things that he wanted to happen have now started happening to him, which is actually what brings us to the original comic we're looking at, which is feminist saying,
I mean, that's actually this is another good point about like the whole like, oh, you shouldn't support doxing. This is why I support doxing. This is because you have to teach them a lesson.
yeah,
When somebody is engaging in doxing, because it's like, oh, I want to silence this person.
Well, only turnabout is fair play. So when you say we support doxing, we don't actually. The thing is that
Oh,
there's
yeah.
so many levels of nuance beyond that we, if you even explained it, people wouldn't understand it. If people just
Then
don't
they'll
even
never.
comprehend it until the first
That
place.
was the other thing too. Is now the fucking whatever Hassan Ali or whatever the fuck his stupid ass name is now. Is coming around, and he was like doing like a we're going shooting guns. The famous thing is like it's like five of his friends in a car, and it's like just imagine if they were in a car accident and all died. But it's like also he's a big time shit lib, but he's going shooting guns because of course it's okay for him to do it.
Yeah, but if it came to other people who'd be okay with it being banned, see that's the thing. It's not that we're for doxing; it's that we're for punishing of the hypocrisy. Like a person who would go around doxing others because it's like, oh, you said this. Though that person, that kind of person, like the SJWs being doxed, is we are morally. I mean, we're not even for it. It's just morally correct for turnabout is fair play for what you would call poetic justice when something that somebody is against gets done back to them or they're like when
It goes
something
to
that
show it
somebody
works too.
is in favor of backfires on them, something like that.
Just imagine if the people in Comicsgate all of a sudden had to deal with a bunch of competition where that competition was just like straight up padding campaigns and engaging in fraud, stealing from their customers. Do you think that they'd suddenly understand that it's wrong to do that?
Well, no,
You're
they
right.
would say that it's wrong for the other people to do it, and then as they do it, they would be like, "Well, it's not the same. We're not doing that." They would just straight up. It's not even. It's different when we do it. It's I don't do that as they do that. That's true of most people, like the SJWs, but even this was a
And they
video
know
we
they
were
do it.
planning on doing behind the paywall, but that the new form of SJW is anti SJWs who believe in absolutely nothing, but just say, oh, social justice is bad because that's the safe opinion to have. Everyone these days who says they're against social justice, they're just saying that because it's safe to say it. They
I
don't
mean,
actually believe in
that's
it, and they
also
don't
typical
practice
of
it.
like that's been typical of I think it was the Daily Show where they're like getting angry at being called liberals, and it's like we're not liberals, and it's like you called yourself liberals,
Yeah,
so
they say
you
they're
will
not liberals
again.
because they consider themselves full on Stalinists.
But the thing is, they know that it's a bad word.
Mhm.
That's the only thing. It's optics cuckery to the max.
TD Max, but that's also the thing is that yeah, the sort of the original form of optics cuckery because it was all about like look at what good people we are. We support this charity and we support this and that, and it's
I
like
gave money to charity. That means that if I fucking steal money from somebody else, it's actually still better. I'm actually still better than that.
yeah, like like I murdered somebody, but I also donated to charity. That makes me a moral
I
person. People
donated
unironically will
$800.
fucking make excuses for that. I
I donated
remember
eight
fucking
hundred
that one
dollars
guy
to
in
Favorite
particular.
Dodo.
It was wasn't it Literature Devil or something who actually said that if he said that somebody who was just a complete fraud and a liar was actually a good person because they donated to charity. And it's like so anyone who donates to charity, no matter what they do, is automatically a good person to
I don't
you.
know
And
if
I'm
it
like,
was them, but it's also something so stupid that it might as well have been.
But it was also it was something exactly like that. But I mentioned it's like so if fucking John Wayne Gacy donated to charity and worked with children, he'd be a good person. He's like, you're really gonna compare them to John Wayne Gacy? And it's like morally, somebody doing something bad and trying to wash it away with charity, yes, that's the
That's
same
actually a
fucking
cope
behavior.
anyway. That's a pathetic cope. You're really
Yeah.
comparing it. Just you're making a
Yes.
comparison. Yes, I'm making a
It's like,
comparison.
you're
Now what are
seriously
you going to
saying
do
that?
about
Are
it?
you serious? You're a white male. Yes, I am
Yes.
serious. I
Yes,
am a
I'm
white
serious, and
male.
yes, I'm a white male. And no, I don't feel guilty about that. I'm not going to be attacked. It's the exact same tactic.
And that's the thing is that it comes from both sides. Not just now, it always has. But more than ever, the people who are now against social justice are people who actually themselves practice all the things that the dreaded SJWs do themselves. The worst parts of them, they do the exact same fucking thing. But then they say, I'm against social justice, and now, they get all the rubes supporting them. And that's really part of what this is about, where the this comic in particular, I think this was Trike Girl, because she would ride around on a tricycle or a big wheel or whatever the fuck.
I don't know if these characters even still exist.
Yeah, I don't know if they exist. I didn't know their names. Somebody else mentioned the names, like, oh yeah, she would ride a tricycle around and be like, oof, men, they're stupid. Owned, and just ride off or something. Like going full Randall Monroe. It was like, there's the door. It's like, whoa, this guy's fucking, he really won that argument that he had against the imaginary fucking person. But here, the feminist here is, that's all you really need to know is feminist. And it says, no men in women's spaces, no men in women's sports. And then the computer, just her laptop, her feminist laptop, her silly feminist ideas, starts floating. And it says hate speech detected. And then yeet, which is something that people would say to make fun of the politics that fucking Tetsuya Ishida supported. By the way, just a few years ago, this exact thing going on, he was on board with. He was all for, people's accounts being yeeted off the internet. He was the type of person who was responsible for that. Not only that, just look at his fucking message board. They were constantly banning people's accounts and shit just for saying stuff that was disallowed for hate speech. If you called something, if anyone decided something was hate speech on his own forums, your account would get yeeted off, including people who had accounts for fucking years, possibly even decades on the Sinfest forums. They came to us because we were posting about Sinfest, making fun of it. And the forums were like, oh, can you believe these guys? And some people would be like, well, they have a point about, Sinfest is going like crazy feminist and it's just all politics and there aren't jokes anymore. Then all of a sudden, that would be deemed hate speech or whatever, and people's accounts would be banned. And, it's funny because now Tatsuya is acting like that's a bad thing when he himself practiced that. And still would, of course. It's the whole the chickens coming home to roost thing. It's the leftist, what we used to call years ago, leftist ideology getting what it deserved or getting what it wanted, backfiring against itself. That's how we described it even when we first started covering Sinfest in like 2013 or 2012 or something like that.
Yeah, if only somebody could have warned these people years in advance that this kind of thing would happen. They say the slippery slope is a fucking fallacy, and it really it should be considered a logical fallacy in order to fucking try and win arguments. Unfortunately, it just isn't anymore.
Yeah, they actually made it come true
with
their own actions. Their own actions backfiring on them. They wanted something, they got it, and it blew up right in their own faces. And that's exactly what this comic is representing. And Tetsuya is completely unaware of it. And any fans he still has are unaware of it. But you know what? I know some of his readers are people who are followers of ours that see this stuff and go, oh man, look at fucking what he's complaining about now that he used to support just a couple years ago. Here's the next page. It's just straight up just a straightforward continuation. It also reveals that the whole what's called hate speech, of course, was something that Tatsuya was unironically in favor of saying, but now that it's could be seen as hate speech against the trans community, all of a sudden it's transphobia.
Which in a way is, and that's the thing, is they'll be like, TERF. They'll label anyone who doesn't like trans TERFs, Even if it's just like, I don't like the idea of you trying to molest my kids. I don't like the idea of trying to
You're
basically
transphobic.
genetically or surgically alter young boys because it's a form of man hatred,
Mm-hmm.
which it is. And then the TERFs are also a form of man hatred, and this is a form of man hatred, but you're never ever allowed to acknowledge that.
Here's another thing that's really important is also it's like Facebook's most wanted, and like the previous one was
Really,
like the post has been flagged. This is Tatsuya trying to continue to act like he's the biggest rebel ever. Look out, he's got some dangerous opinions, and it's like, no, the people who actually had the dangerous opinions you were against openly, and you said as much in your comics just a few years ago. Now you want to act like you're the rebel for saying this stuff, and he's going to get people on his side too, being like, "Oh, this guy must be base. He's totally he's on our side. He's one of our guys now." This is exactly what
yeah, fools.
happened with stupid Richard C. Meyer and the whole fucking the Chip
Gullible
Zdarsky
idiot.
is our guy now, and Thick Boy in charge and all that shit. How did that work out for you again? And we told them it's going to backfire on you, and then it did, proving us right again. That's why they always say SWC is always right, and the SJWs are always wrong. But yeah,
And
the
the people who
she-her
aren't saying that
gulag. Oh
have
no.
simply yet to learn.
And then the color comic is literally just fucking oh no, they're in prison, but it's also they're making the bash the fashion tax the rich stuff as
Again,
if
this
like
is something
that's a
that's been
shocking
covered.
revelation.
Yeah, years and years ago. This is something we covered on our fucking on a Tumblr blog of all things.
Which
We had a
again,
blog
for
on
anyone who doesn't
Tumblr.
know, we intentionally made it on Tumblr to take the trolling directly to the Tumblrites
The
intentionally.
target rich environment.
Yes.
It's like, where else do you drop the fuel?
We literally
air,
said that in
explosive?
2011. It's like, here, we registered this account here because it's a target rich environment. That was like one of our first posts, even. But yeah, check your privilege, abolish police, smash the patriarchy. And this is like Tatsuya realizing, but not fully realizing, he's not really that self-aware, that all the
It's
stuff
more like
he unironically supported years
it's
ago
more like
was
the just
corporate
started.
approved.
It's even worse than the just started paying attention guy, because this is something.
Yes.
This is something he should have noticed a long time ago.
Are you accusing Tatsuya of having some adventures? But yeah, unironically, he's like, oh, this is the stuff he himself smashed the patriarchy. Go back 5 years in this comic, and he was unironically comparing the patriarchy to the Matrix and how
Not
it needs to be
even.
overthrown.
It was like 1 year ago or less.
And the entire point, especially that we were pointing out to him, is that it's like, you have the most safe opinions, corporate approved. The presidency, the Obama presidency, was officially approving of it and talking about it in public. You are not a rebel. But he was still trying to act like he was a rebel for doing this exact same shit, where he was unironically saying smash the patriarchy and joining the corporations and the corporate approved opinions. And now everyone else has realized, it's become meme worthy, that this stuff has actually, corporate funding behind it. So yeah, it's like, it's not a surprise. It's a surprise to him, but it's a surprise to no one else. Again, yeah, like you were saying, the adventures of the guy who just started paying attention.
Except that he shouldn't. He has no excuse not to already understand this. It's just like he's jumping on the bandwagon so late.
Way late.
Seems
Yeah,
like
he's trailing behind the bandwagon, acting like he's suddenly been its leader the whole time. That's really what these comics are showing, and unintentionally. And again, we're
he's like
always the
female
persons.
paladin.
We're the people who notice this in other people. The people who have the fake opinions, who are acting like they're the brave rebels taking the charge, who really have never had these opinions. Like, for example, Ethan Van Sciver being a never Trumper literally until the day that Trump got elected, and then acting like, oh, I got fired from DC because I supported Trump. And even the other coworkers at DC were like, you were saying Trump's a dangerous idiot, though. What are you talking about? And it
He's
just
literally
reveals
like
the lie
everyone else
of now
too.
the anti-SJW grift. It's fake now. And that's what's next. And this is part of it. Tatsuya's Sinfest is part of the anti-SJW grift now. And it's way too late.
Kind of like for the same reason that a lot of corporations are fucking basically towing the fucking...
Yeah, expect to see that from the corporations sometime in the future, by the way. Don't be surprised if you see I mean, Black Rifle Coffee Company doesn't even stick to it that much, but don't be surprised if you see a company start advertising with, like, we're back to fucking regular gender roles. Those are a good thing, not pizza rolls, and, you know, whatever, fucking... bullshit.
Enforce gender roles.
Yes.
We're against molesting kids in bathrooms.
Yeah, exactly. Firestone Tire says we're for enforcing traditional gender roles. And it's like, you know, once you see that, that's when you know the entire thing has just become that safe. It's already the safe opinion. Being against social justice is a safe opinion.
Later, years and years after that point, it'll loop back around to fucking gender roles. Those are for fucking losers. Those are for faggots.
Those are for faggots, yeah.
Fuck these faggots who want gender roles. And it's like, what? Where were they going?
It'll be back to not gender roles, pizza rolls. And Totino's will be tweeting that out.
On person number 6, where it's like the first lady who's the fucking one at the sewing machine in the first panel who has her eyes X'd out, and it's like, is she dead? What's going on?
That's just I had to look closely. Drawing.
I had to look more closely, and it's like, oh wait, her eyes aren't X'd out. It just looks like
they're just kind of half closed. If you go to the next one, you see this. That again, it's like so lazy that the comic is just like, and then this happens, and then this happens.
And I'm not sure what the fuck the final.
Then she ties her shoes. Then she goes to the bathroom.
Maybe this is just me not understanding fucking mannequins or something. But what's this floating dome over the fucking Smash the Patriarchy dress? I don't fucking know if it's like supposed to be a head, a wig. Fucking, I have no idea what that is.
A nun's habit, because it's like it's supposed to be a reference to A Handmaid's Tale or something.
I've never seen it before in my life. No. So it's definitely something that's
not a nun's habit. Wrong. It's not.
If I've never seen it, it's been done wrong.
Yeah, he fucked it up to begin with. Now he should just sit there or leave. But anyways, yeah. So that just these fucking these whole things. But yeah, this is yet another example of the left wanted this thing, so they got it, and then realized, oh no, it's backfiring on us. And we were pointing that out was already happening like 2012, 2013. It's old news.
And now they're using it on me.
Yeah, and that's the thing. In fact, I remember we made a big post. In fact, I think we did a video or two saying that there's no such thing as hate speech. I remember we did a video about this a few years back, saying that there is no such thing as hate speech, because the purpose of the concept of hate speech is to simply to criminalize anything you don't like people saying, which now they don't even have to do. The next level beyond that is misleading information. Even big tech corporations dumped hate speech, and now they just call it misleading information, and they throw a tag under your thing and make it so your post is not shareable or anything, and throw disclaimers all over it. Fucking YouTube will throw a disclaimer about the Holocaust.
Twitter will have just like their fucking sidebar that is basically nothing but misleading information.
Yeah.
But because it's officially from the source.
Yeah, officially approved information.
Not misleading at all.
Yeah. And that's the next thing. See, that's the thing. If you're still saying, oh, hate speech detected, you're still 5 years behind. They don't call it hate speech anymore. We pointed out that that's how they were going to do it. And then they did it. And now what it is they call it misleading information. They throw in like corrective tags on it and that kind of shit. And all of the big tech companies do that to propagandize. Of course, stuff that you should, if you even need this to be pointed out to you, you are the problem.
Yeah, just not even these started paying attention. It's like you could shove this shit in people's faces and they won't notice.
And we've done that. That's the thing, is that we notice. You shove it in people's faces, you soft sell it, however you do it. people won't notice if that, it's the whole saying of you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. That's what we do, is we're leading every horse to water, and it's like, hey, drink or not, fucking go ahead and drop dead on the trail
You're dying
or
of
something.
thirst. You are dying of thirst.
Yes,
Are
you are
drink?
dying of thirst. Here is the water. And everyone's like, oh, you guys are so smug how you're telling us that there's water in front of me. I don't even see water.
You don't know what smug means if you think that.
Yes. They're looking up in the sky and going like, I don't even see water. It's like, it's down. The underneath you, the part, the ground, that's where there is some water in front of you. Here, I'm looking at it, and they're like, they actually talk like that.
Why? You guys are fucking just full of shit.
You're full of shit. I knew you were shit, sir. Just fucking, like, people have had hilarious conniptions, and it's all of it starting to collapse on them. Like, we were just seeing people just fucking being like, just being tired of the e-celebs that they were fucking nut licking for the past year or two. And we're like, oh yeah, that guy got caught lying and he's supporting false flagging. Like, did you know that Nick Rekieta supports false flagging? He does. He's already been fucking neck deep in it. And if you say no, he doesn't, that's because you're delusional and you're in denial of objective reality. We've already proved it like fucking, it was like 2 years ago. I keep thinking years. Is it 3 or 4? Oh, it was only 2 years ago.
Also,
feels like 1,000 lifetimes ago. We have evolved so much as human beings just over the past year, me and my brother, that it feels like 1,000 lifetimes to refer to something that happened in 2019 of all times. It's crazy. Crazy.
Yeah, these people are just, you can always tell just from the way that they react.
Yeah, that's the truest thing. Look at somebody's reaction, and that's how you can judge their character. All it takes is one reaction, and we have somebody clocked. And that's what we figured out about Ethan Ralph. Again, 2019, we had him completely clocked just from one reaction.
That's actually the important one, is I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
But once it happened, I realized for sure, without a doubt, at that point from now on until the end of time, oh, he has no integrity.
Yeah, he's a disingenuous person by nature. And then all of a sudden, like 2 years later, everyone else realized we were right all along about Ethan Ralph. And the same is going to happen every single time. And it's already happening to guys like Rekieta and fucking, it already happened with
that's the thing now like is Ethan, it's happening. Skyver. We warned people years in advance.
Yeah,
they're just starting to notice,
or they're not noticing at all. So they're like, oh no, that's not true, because they haven't noticed. And then they start noticing and they go they actually
and I'm tired of hearing from them.
Yeah,
when they
because there's no one more irrelevant than the person who doesn't notice yet.
Steps down from mattering.
We're measurably, quantifiably more important people than they ever will be. I mean, it's not my opinion. It's actually measured. You can empirically display it, which we have.
I can prove it on a home computer.
Yeah, I can prove it on an Etch-a-Sketch. Anyways, so again, we are planning just a giant, almost a painful string of videos about Penny Arcade. We actually told our mom to fuck off today. She was like, I want to put up some shelves into that. And it's like, you're going to have to do that yourself. We're busy. Look at this important shit we're doing. Yeah.
She got very angry, though.
Yes.
Just not anything else, but just the idea that we would ever be busy with something. And it's like, hey, we got a fucking audience that we are beholden to.
Even if it's a tiny audience,
she doesn't care about our audience.
It doesn't even matter the size of the audience. What we're saying is objectively true in a way that nobody else has ever noticed or pointed out. We're literally the first people to ever have pointed out any of this shit in history on YouTube, which fuck YouTube, but still in history in a way that you can throw at people and say, here are the first people to ever say this. And that's us about 500 times in a row now, objectively. And that's worth more than mom coming over and being like, she actually said it like that too. How come mom talks like all these fucking comic book nerds and shit and faggot YouTubers? I don't know.
She's an honorary comic book nerd.
But I told her, we're way too busy because we have a very narrow window that both of us are fucking being able to be together to record these goofy ass videos. So, and just because of that, you should give us money. Give us money for us telling our mom to fuck off for fun fucking so that we
You're
can record
welcome.
these
You'll
these
never
wonderful
thank us,
videos
and you'll
about
never
stupid
have to.
webcomics.
You'll
Webcomics
never
that aren't
thank
very
us.
good
You'll
at
never
all.
have to, but you should. But you'll never have to.
Yes. You don't have to thank us. You should. You won't. You
But you
should.
should.
Totally
You
should.
fucking. You
Totally.
fucking should.
Anyways, unlike, share, comment, resubscribe, give us money, check out the secret videos that you're only allowed to see, that have the deep dives, the really intense shit that, again, is way too real, that nobody else is saying except us, and then in a year everyone else will be saying. So if you want to see what everyone else is going to be saying next year, go to our subscribe star and give us a happy dollar. Or five. You get access to more videos with five. You get access to some videos with $1 though, which is all right. And remember what the real pros and the experts have been saying for the past few years now is should have listened to Shitty Web Comics.